Okay, New Zealand, it goes up and down. And what we're showing here is GPS data on the left and satellite data on the right, and you can see the lower North Island is subsiding at about 5 millimetres per year, which is more than the rate of sea level rise, so it effectively doubles the rate of sea level rise. So let's have a look at what that means for the Port of Tauranga. Here, and we're using 40 centimetres of sea level rise as our threshold here. So by 2050, 2055, we would expect sea level to be 40 centimetres higher on the red scenario, the business as usual. Now, the Port of Tauranga is subsiding at 1.5 millimetres per year, and if we take that into account from a planning perspective, we hit that threshold 10 years earlier. Now, this is significant because in many parts of New Zealand, 40 centimetres of sea level rise is the threshold by which the 100-year storm event happens every year. Here's a study from NIWA, and there are NIWA scientists in the room. Andrew Tate is here, you should talk to him, and Richard Levy is here from GNS, who is involved in this sea level work. But here is a NIWA study that shows the blue area around Otamotai and the port area is the 100-year flood inundation. The green is with 40 centimetres of sea level rise, and the orange is with another metre of sea level rise. So here's an area, residential, critical infrastructure to the country that is incredibly vulnerable, and vertical movements of land matter. All right, extreme events. This one is probably still in your memory. This was an unusual event. It was a 100-year event that happened during one of those marine heat waves in the Tasman Sea. The Tasman Sea was warmer, a little bit higher. The storm had a 1.5 metre storm surge on a king tide with a big wave setup that essentially swamped the Miranda-Kaiawa region, took out the Thames Coromandel Road. You can see the Waikato Regional Council sea level tool there, and that the Hauraki Plains were only protected by stop banks. If they weren't there, the flooding would have been all the way back to, what's that town right back? Yeah, pretty much. Morrinsville, a long way back. Okay, so, and you also see Thames there, which is sort of interesting because it's always in the news, but it's a classic case of maladaptation where the Monotari subdivision was built in the 1970s on reclaimed land. It's sinking at 10 millimetres per year. And to defend that, they put a seawall around it, and they had pumps. So this is a classic example of something we could do in an adaptation response, but possibly shouldn't.